Welcome back, comic fans. It's Mr. Q Comics back with some more show and tell. Today's haul is, like most of my hauls, many months old. This is a stack of books I picked up from a yard sale. All of the stack is from one yard sale, and there is a single book I picked up from a separate yard sale a couple weeks later. So, like many of you, I'm assuming, I love to go out and hit up yard sales throughout the season, throughout the spring and into the late fall where I am. And I usually don't have a lot of luck as it relates to comics. You'll see some occasionally, some cool books, but I've never had any real big finds at yard sales. And typically you got to get up early. You got to do the whole, I got to be there early, even though they say no early birds, and you got to get there before everyone. So really don't put too much effort into trying to find books at yard sales. Most people are wise to this now. And most people realize to not sell their comics at yard sales. So I was going to a local flea market one Saturday morning. I was on my way to the ATM to pick up cash. And I drive by a neighbor's house right down the street. And it's an older couple, and they got a pretty nice house. And I see they are unloading a ton of stuff, and their driveway is packed. And I look over, and I'm like, I doubt they have comics. I don't know if I want to waste the time. I want to get to the flea market early. There was one vendor who was supposed to be bringing comics. So I hit the ATM, telling myself I'll come back in the afternoon and I'll stop by and check that out. And then, I think better of it. I swing back around, I park the car, and I know I'm early, so I walk up and I politely ask, is it okay to come look? And they give you permission. I always ask. You don't want to, every so often, you do piss people off when you show up early, so I always ask permission if it's okay to look while they're setting up. So these folks were nice enough to let me come up. I looked through their stuff. Looked like they were having a moving sale. They were unloading all their stuff because they were selling their house. So I just happened to ask, you guys don't happen to have any comic books? And the couple stops and they look at each other. And he says, I do have some comic books. You can look at them if you're going to make a fair offer. And I said, yeah, I'll look through them, and I'm not going to, try and rip anyone off. So, and the wife, as he's going in to get him, the wife says, oh, yeah, it's all a bunch of old Spider-Man and old Superman. And I'm immediately like, oh, my God, are you serious? Like, they actually have some. So he comes out. They got a small stack. Everything is unbagged, unboarded. It's all in rough shape because it was stored, of course, in the attic. And he tells me they had a ton more that they sold a few years back at another yard sale where they had just put them all out, and they probably got hosed on it. I'm thinking, oh my God, when you see these books, I can't imagine what they had in there. I can't imagine. But I am happy with what I got. So he showed me the stack. I think it's like 20 books, and I probably already sold off a couple. So let's just dive into it because I'm rambling for 3 minutes here without showing you anything. So first book, Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos, number 25. And a lot of these are rough. They were curled up. It's like they were stacked. I think they must have been stacked next to their chimney. So there's like soot on them, and clearly some water had dripped. So it's all Silver Age. I think there was a Random Classics Illustrated in here too. We've got Sergeant Fury Annual number 1. I don't have this one in the bag and board because it's pretty cover here. I don't think it's a key or anything, but I have never seen this. I flipped it over and the back is completely blank. Nothing printed on the back. That's really random. I've never seen that before. Let me know if you've ever gotten an error like that before. Really weird. I had to do a double take on that. I thought, geez, is the cover ripped off? But no, the cover's there. Just nothing on it. So we've got Strange Tales number 134. And again, you can see how rough, sitting in the attic for God knows how long. Some of the pieces are flaking off. There's water stains, all of that. So I think there's just, probably a lot of this stuff is in the good range here. So, but a very cool Strange Tales cover. We got number 142. Again, rough shape. I think this is the second appearance of Mentallo. Cool Iron Man cover, Tales of Suspense, number 67. So these folks, they didn't know anything about comics, so I thumbed through them, and I wasn't sure on the fly every book if, what was a key, what wasn't a key. We got Fantastic Four, number 38. I I can't remember what the significance is of this. I don't think there's any first appearance. I think Paste Pot Pete becomes the Trapster in this one. Not terrible on that. Some of them had some weird warping though, like they were just bent. Fantastic Four number 40, which I don't have in my collection, so this one's going in the PC. All right, really rough. A couple of X-Men books. X-Men number 17, which I do have. You can see like the water damage there where something drips. So this must have been on the top of the stack. X-Men number 18, which I don't have, but again, this one's super rough. All right, getting into the better books here, because there were some good books in here. We got some Spidey. Of course, I was super excited to see Spidey in there. Amazing Spider-Man number 24. Amazing Spider-Man number 32. I feel like that's a key, but I cannot remember if there is what the significance is with this book here. Classic cover. I did not have this as a classic Kirby cover. I've looked at this many times and never pulled the trigger. We got Fantastic Four number 51. This one's probably in better shape than most. This one's actually probably in the VG fine range. It seemed to avoid the moisture damage and the soot. I think just a lot of them on the top of the stack. I mean, I think they literally have these just stacked in the attic, like so many of these books come from. So very happy with that. More X-Men, another low number X-Men I did not have. X-Men number 11. This is the first appearance of the Stranger. Not the biggest key issue, but I am super stoked to find any early X-Men. Another very cool book I did not have. This is Thor 126. This one's got some of the warping, the kind of, it bends like here. When you take it out, the whole corner kind of stands to attention. But I think a little bit of cleaning and pressing will take care of that. So this is when Journey into Mystery becomes Thor. So this is the first issue, which actually I had no idea when I grabbed it. When I went through the stack, it was the X-Men 11 and the next few books I'm going to show you that was basically what, in my mind, I was paying for, because everything else was super low grade. So I didn't realize what this went for. I didn't consider this that big of a key, but it's a pretty pricey book. And a Thor issue I do not have. So happy that was in there. All right, down to the last two from this collection. So this is super rough shape. This one has a lot of the worst water damage, but we got Daredevil number 3. When he was telling me he sold off most of these at another yard sale, I'm immediately thinking, oh my God, I bet Daredevil number 1 was in there. I bet he had a Daredevil number 1 half a mile from my house sitting out at the yard sale, and I didn't get it. But oh well, gotta be happy with what you did get. So this is the first appearance of the Owl, and of course the third appearance of Daredevil. Again, super low grade, probably, you know, probably a 1 to 8, something like that, maybe a 2. Really rough with the water damage. Final book, and to me, the book I was paying for in my mind. And I went through it and I started trying to show them what was what, and I could see their eyes were just kind of glazing over like they knew nothing about comics. And I'm like, I'm just going to throw a fair number out. So I gave him an offer in the hundreds and for the stack, and he immediately accepted that. He thought that was more than fair. So I got a great price, and they were happy. I was happy, and I was happy to get this book again, Amazing Spider-Man number 31, first appearance of Gwen Stacy, Harry Osborn. I think it's the first, is it the first full Miles Warren as well? I can't remember, but that to me was the book I was really in my mind I was paying for. The other ones were super rough. The Daredevil 3, the X-Men 11, also great books, but yeah, super surprised. Couldn't believe that actually happened, because that never happens. But from that point on, I ask everyone at a yard sale, do you happen to have any comic books? So a couple weeks later, I'm hitting up another yard sale, and she's got some stuff out. It's out, you know, country back roads. Same thing. I happen to ask, do you happen to have any comic books? And she comes, oh, I think I do have a couple. And she literally had 2 comics she brings out. She's had like a Charlton Western book. And surprisingly, this with it, Fantastic Four Annual number 6. I mean, really rough. Again, when you find these, the people, they don't, you know, it made it seem like these are just laying around, you know, somewhere, just been floating around her house for God knows how long. So, couldn't believe that. It was flipped over, you know, the Western book, and I'm like, oh, wow, okay. So, and she gave it to me for a few bucks. So, that was, you know, super happy to find that. Couldn't believe it. So, it does happen. So, just remember when you're out there yard selling, guys, always ask, do you happen to have any comic books? Where I'm at, people are always there early. Usually people are hunting for the video games and toys, especially the Star Wars stuff. There's so many people out digging for this. So I try and find the books, the yard sales rather, where they're not advertising this stuff, and just ask, because you never know. So that is the haul, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do me a favor. Go down below, hit the like button, hit subscribe, leave me some comments, let me know what you think. See y'all soon.